All right, so in this video, I'm going to be doing just kind of like a wish list a little bit for an Apple Watch Ultra 3 and a little bit of a comparison also to the Garmin. This is the Garmin Tactix 7 specifically, but basically some of the wish lists for this device are going to be things that I can do on the Garmin that I'm not able to do on the Apple Watch Ultra. Number one is a dedicated LED for flashlight. That's huge. I'm not a huge fan of, let's see, I'll unlock this one quick, but it's just the screen. All that you can do is the screen. And then I think you can swipe over and do a red one, but dude, it's weak sauce, dude. It doesn't do anything basically. So a couple key things that I really enjoy from the Apple Watch that the Garmin, doesn't have is the cellular connectivity. So I love the cellular connectivity. If they do add the satellite. If they add satellite connectivity, so like if you're able to send an SOS message or even just some, messages of some sort through satellite on the Apple Watch, that would be very cool, because my next thing would be getting like my iPhone has satellite messaging, but it would be pretty cool to have that on this. For maybe an instance that I wouldn't have my iPhone with me, or even just, a crazy scenario is like you're camping and a storm comes and your phone is gone and all that you have is your watch because that was on your wrist. You would be able to get some help. So anyways, that's one thing. I like the physical buttons on the Garmin. So the Apple Watch has an action button, and then even when the when the touch screen is locked, you can still use the digital crown to kind of scroll and navigate a little bit, but I've not been able to really master that. So when you're outside, I'm in the northern hemisphere, in the wintertime, it's difficult for my fingers to get the screen to recognize them. And so buttons, navigation through buttons would be pretty nice. I'm not exactly sure how to do that, but that's something that would be kind of cool. Another thing is the course creation process and just offline maps and all of that stuff in general. On the Garmin, it's pretty smooth, and then I use the Outdoors Maps Plus on the Garmin. So I'm able to actually see things like trails that I simply can't see on the Apple Watch. And then even when I'm in the Apple Maps on the iPhone to try to create a course to send over to this one. So even if I was in the Explorer app, saw where like some trails are and then tried to find them in the Apple Maps and then create a course, like I haven't been able to, because it doesn't recognize that there's a trail there. So I'm not able to create a course right now anyways. So something to address that. Better control over the offline maps, or just maybe I need to get a little better with that. Being able to export courses and just some of that stuff would be kind of nice. And then maybe tying the courses like into an overlay. Anyways, that's kind of just getting into the software aspect. So physical buttons are one thing that I really like. Maybe like segregated batteries or something. So like I think that this one's like a system on chip, or there's multiple components. And so, if something's not running, it can kind of shut that off. So the battery life. So just somehow figuring out like better battery life options on this, where you're like maybe disabling, because right now you can go into low power mode when you're hiking, and that disables some of the background stuff, like it'll disable app background activity, but it also disables like the time in the sun, so it's like, well, I still would like that to be measured, but I don't need my apps to be running, and I don't need the GPS to be tracked as much, or just they're doing really good, but that's one thing that would be helpful, you know, some finer control on that. Those are the big things that I would like. Physical buttons, a dedicated LED with different colors for the flashlight would be super cool. And working out something with the battery life, because as of right now, I'm pretty sure if you were to do like a long day's activity, like just something that was all day, like it's not actually going to get you through the full day, you know? So that's a problem. Like if you're doing like the triathlons or something, like this one's really actually going to get you through that. This one would not. Anyways, that being said, that's hopefully a quick review of some of the main things. There are other things that I totally forgot. I just kind of was off the cuff doing this. And I'm pretty excited, but right now I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with for my using. A little bit of a philosophical aspect now that we've gotten through some of that stuff is, you know, is it a good idea to have everything on my wrist at all times? Like, is it a good idea to be able to check my emails? Because usually the thing that this makes things extremely convenient with is work. Like this makes my work life a heck of a lot easier. But I'm not necessarily like the job that I have right now. I don't necessarily love it. So that's why this is so nice, because it removes like my feeling of working. It helps with my feeling of working. So that being said, like if my Garmin was just like a tool to help me better myself. So if I was just looking for a tool to like better myself, I think the Garmin would be what I would go with, because that data is better. You know, it's more along those lines. Whereas this one, it's not as in depth for that type of individual data, and it's just kind of generalized for the most part. So like I don't think I'm getting as much depth with this one, but it makes me having a job that I don't really like doing a lot easier. But it's like, well, that's not necessarily good, so I should more so try to be changing, you know, what I'm doing in my life for my career, instead of trying to use technology to like hide from the fact that I'm not doing something that I like to do for a job. And so part of this exploration has been like, well, if I was doing a job that I liked doing, let's just say that it was the content creation, and my job was to like find cool ideas of how I would use stuff and then make videos, or just make videos on how I'm living my life. You know, if I was just living my life the way that I wanted to live it with everything that I have available to me, would I still be choosing the Apple Watch? Because a lot of those things are to kind of like control and hide from like the everyday reality that we're in, and then focus only on the things that we want to. And just by default, that's what this one is doing. By default, this is really only showing me the stuff that I care about. But that being said, sometimes on this one, it does have like the voice memos. So if I'm just like a cool idea, boom, record the voice memo. But then a psychological aspect for me is like, well, instead of recording a voice memo, I should take action on that cool idea right away, you know? Because usually if I were to look at my voice memos, I've got like 100 voice memos that I've never even gone back to actually listen to or look at. You know, so it's definitely for me how I'm using the devices that's giving me ideas on, you know, how to use them. And then like maybe how to not use them. One of the things that I really like on the Apple Watch is this titanium Milanese loop band. It seriously is so comfortable, feels good, and the whole thing, it looks cool. Like this is a cool looking watch. This one's kind of rugged, but they've got the Marque versions or whatever, that are more fancy looking. So anyways, I'm not sure which one I'm going to continue using. I've been doing a hybrid setup. While I'm at work, I've been using the Apple Watch. When I go hiking and outdoors, I wind up putting on the Garmin. And if I'm just roaming around the house, you know, I feel like I wind up putting on the Garmin. So there we go. There are a couple things that would bring me back to this one. Like I said, those lights, the physical buttons, and some finer controls in the health arena or deeper insights would kind of be cool.